post into the group so that when people see it, the video will actually hopefully be playing.
Were you going to start with an F-bomb or not?
Probably not.
Okay.
It's just more making the post in there. Right. And where's my run sheet? Oh, there it is. Okay.
Where's me run sheet?
Where's your run sheet?
Oh, me plums. Where's my run sheet? All righty. So I need to remember to move that from time to time. Okay, cool. In which case, are we all sitting comfortably?
Yeah.
All right, we are all sitting comfortably. Then let's begin. Welcome to Australian Transformers Weekly. We are bringing you Transformers news from around the world because not much of it happens in Australia, with Australian voices and accents and thoughts and field opinions. This is episode 217, despite what it says in the run sheet. We are recording live on Friday, the 21st of August, 2020. This week, we are talking about a whole bunch of new figures that have been spotted in Walmart's systems and things. There's an impressive new third-party Starscream making the rounds. And the third bullet point in front of me says, will Brad's statue news make it into the show? The answer, I can tell you right now, is no. All that and more coming up on this week's episode of Australian Transformers Weekly.
Are we going to get in touch with the people that did that awesome rockin' theme that you shared earlier?
Nah.
Oh,
Because it's released commercially.
Fair enough.
It is pretty cool, though. All right. And we're done. Hello and welcome to the show this week. Joining me, I should introduce myself. I'm Jason. Joining me this week, coming to us, let's go from east to west. Coming to us from Adelaide, we have Max. How are you doing, Max?
I'm doing well, thank you, Jason. How are you?
I am doing swimmingly. Sydney is about to have apparently the coldest day of the year tomorrow, and I have turned the heater on. So,
it does feel like that around here right now.
Yeah, well, we're probably getting it from you guys. So yeah, it's lockdown life where the most telling aspect of your life is how long you get to run the heater for every day. Not that Sydney is in lockdown, unlike our friendly counterparts down in Melbourne. But it's thought that it might not be long until we are. We'll see what happens. Let's go a little bit further west. Can you hear me over there, Bradley?
Apparently not.
Yes. The delay is real. Yes, I can.
The window for getting a signal through to Perth is very, very slim.
It's just the time zones.
Yeah. No, they had to travel. They had to travel through 3 time zones and back 30 years.
Well, the Premier's also got a wall up blocking internet signals now as well, just to, extra COVID protection.
It's true. You don't want to get any of the 5Gs come through into Perth.
No, nothing at all.
Just trying to keep out those Clive Palmer Facebook ads.
God, I wish I could keep out the Clive Palmer Facebook ads. But, I think it's quite funny. I get ads on Twitter from Palmer Bet, and it's like the other Palmer. I was like, you're not much better. So look, it has been a couple of weeks since we've been on the show. What have you guys been up to? How is life in COVID ravaged Earth treating you?
Well, I live in a civilized state, so it's basically normal.
I live in the state that the rest of the world doesn't acknowledge, so it's very, very clandestine.
He lives in an even more civilized state where it just said, fuck the rest of yous.
Yeah.
Fair
we
enough.
just went up the border with the AA guns and no one can get in. And I got green hair and glasses, so it's all good.
Yeah, green hair and glasses, which does make me feel like you might be gunning for the end of civilization, but
you get what you deserve.
Oh man, this is going well early. All right, let's talk about some Transformers, shall we? Bradley, I think when we last spoke, you hadn't watched the Siege series yet. Was that true? Actually, you know what? Just peeking ahead in the run sheet at your new acquisitions, I can guess that you have now.
I saw it a couple of weeks ago, and I liked it. It wasn't, earth-shattering, but I watched it with a mate, and we both found it quite entertaining.
Yeah, no, that seems to be about the best, sort of the best that we come up with for it. I've seen a number of people complaining about it. But it's like, nah, I don't think people are generally complaining about it. I think people are just sort of happy to acknowledge that it's a thing that happened. It's a very short thing that happened, and it's been and done. And now we have to wait another year for more to come out. So,
yeah, my friend and I, we were having fun. We're like, hey, look, there's Cog. Oh, Cog died. Wait, Cog's back.
Wait, there's another Cog. It's just a different color. There's a lot of them.
We legit thought at the end, like, because Megatron crushed one, it's like, oh no, Cog's actually dead. And then he's in the next scene yelling out orders, and like, hang on, that can't be Cog. And then we're having a good laugh because, there was like a sort of like a nothing scene where Bumblebee was going to meet Sound Blaster. By the way, I really like how they got Sound Blast into the series. That was really, really creative. And then it was just like, okay, so here's his gang. He's got Cog, and there's RC. And she looked amazing. I was like, hang on, RC's just there. She's not even talking.
Yeah, it's a bit funny how some of these went, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you get a brief shot of Astro Train at the end. So I reckon next year, Titan class toy will be Astro Train just to be in scale.
Oh, that is an interesting bet. We have heard rumors that the Titan class toy next year, or was it? It might have been the Commander class toy. One of them has kind of gangly limbs. That doesn't really sound very Astro Chain like to me, but I don't really know who it is. But yeah, so we'll see. Should we talk about some news?
Go for it.
Well.
New news. All right. The first bit of news is the wall of text that I've just put on the screen, which is showing us that the leaky ship that is Walmart's stock tracking computer, turns out, has a bunch of War for Cybertron Kingdom.
Could this be a wall for Cybertron?
No.
Okay.
No, it cannot. But it can be. It can be the start of the new kingdom.
Okay.
So we've seen a bit of information about Kingdom come out over the last few weeks. It's a little bit haphazard. There's some rumors and there's sort of little facts because the thing hasn't actually officially been announced yet, or at least the toy line hasn't. So what we have heard is that there is a new size class in Kingdom called Core, and it appears that Core sort of takes over the old Legends size class, and it sort of takes the place of the Battle Masters and the Battle Masters and the Micro Masters. So they may not be coming back for Kingdom. But what we have seen so far from people, I think people have just been searching Walmart.com and finding out what comes up, because it turns out all these things are already in the computer. So what we found is everything's listed under TRA Gen for Transformers Generations, WFCK, and that's War for Cybertron Kingdom. Kingdom being the third chapter in the War for Cybertron trilogy. What we've seen is a deluxe Cheetor, deluxe Warpath, and a deluxe Black Arachnia. Now, they sort of speak to the split of sort of G1 characters versus rumored Beast Wars characters that we're expecting to see in Kingdom. How they figure into the plot line, we don't really know yet. But so there's at least Cheetor, Black Arachnia, there's Core Rat Trap, and there's a Core Optimus Prime. So it looks like there'll be a tiny little Optimus Prime for us all to connect and collect next year as well. There is also a Leader Optimus Prime, a Voyager Cyclonus. Now, it's possible that that's where the Cyclonus that we saw leaked a few weeks ago is actually eventually going to end up. There's been rumors of 86 bots turning up in Studio Series, but maybe it's not going to happen. There is a Voyager Optimus Primal, and there is a Leader class Trex Megatron. That might be T-Rex Megatron if we're doing.
It would have the hyphen in it if it was T-Rex. So,
because Walmart's computer definitely is the pinnacle of good language and proper punctuation.
Yeah.
So it looks like we're definitely getting a purple people eater in the leader class for Megatron, and there's an Optimus Primal, but he's only a Voyager class. There is a Leader Optimus Prime PR, which says a package refresh is apparently it. So Earthrise Optimus in Kingdom packaging is very likely. But I think Earthrise Optimus has been doing pretty well for himself. He's a pretty good figure, and everyone seems to want to find him. Even though he's been out in 2 waves in Earthrise, people are still having trouble finding him. So if they do bring him back, then that's probably a good thing.
Yeah, he's a wonderful toy. I think Masterpiece collectors have MP44, and Classics G1 collectors have Earthrise Optimus. I think he's pretty much become the definitive Classics Optimus, and yeah, he's got a lot of features and a lot of playability. So yeah, it's good to see him coming back in the third instance.
He does. Should I read anything into the fact that we're most excited about the repack of Earthrise Optimus Prime in Kingdom, or is it just that that's the one figure that we actually know anything about?
Well, I think the core would be interesting if we knew how. I mean, when I hear core, I think of how Titans Returns had the combiners had that combining matrix. To me, that sounds like core.
It does. It sounds like some sort of play pattern as opposed to just the size class.
Yeah, and
I've got nothing to back it up. It just sounds like that.
The only other thing is I really want to see a picture of that Voyager Cyclonus, because the only other Cyclonus I've got is the Combiner Wars one, and I would really like to get an update to that toy, because that toy
there was that leaked image of the prototype a while back, wasn't there? So I guess this is that.
Wasn't that a third-party one?
No. So there was a Cyclonus toy that leaked in the same leak as Top Gun Maverick. I think Hubcap was in there as well. I'm not sure, but everything in that leak except Cyclonus has come to pass. So if this is really where we're going to get Cyclonus in, then that's going to be pretty great. Also, he was quite a big figure as well, so that bodes well for the Voyager scale in Kingdom, possibly being a little bit larger than we've seen in Earthrise and Siege.
Yeah, but what do you reckon the Trex Megatron will just be a Voyager with clip-on T-Rex onesie?
Yeah, maybe it is an interesting question as well, because it would have to be a new Megatron figure in order to actually transform into something resembling a T-Rex anyway. So maybe we're looking at a new Megatron Voyager with the clip-on parts to make him T-Rex size.
Yeah, it will be interesting to see the Deluxe Warpath as well, because the Deluxe Warpath from a few years ago is still serviceable with Generations 1.
He's very serviceable. He's a very enduring figure, that Deluxe Warpath. I
think I've got 3 of that mold. I've got Warpath, I've got the Attendants, the BotCon attendee drone toy, and I think it's Striker.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah.
He is a good few years old now, so Warpath is due for an update. There was a Warpath in the Legends scaling Combiner Wars, but let's not talk about that.
No, it's not. How dare you mention that, Jason?
Sorry.
Exist, man. It doesn't exist.
Are you a Warpath denier? There's
too much evidence.
Yeah, there's empirical evidence that Warpath exists.
Yes, I know it exists. I just refuse to acknowledge it.
Yes. All right. So that's the news of today as far as Kingdom goes. Tomorrow there'll probably be photos just since we're bothering to record today. So keep an eye out. Keep an eye out on the news sites and on socials, because all this stuff is sort of breaking at the moment. And we'll see where we end up. But it does look like we're going to have Core, Deluxe, Voyager, and Leader as the main.
I also like how Black Arachnia is in capitals. It just makes you want to go to the shop and say, "Do you have Black Arachnia?"
So different parts of this have been transcribed differently. If I scroll down, I don't think they've put the screenshots in this thread on TFW, but they're all taken from searches on Walmart's website. And the interesting part of that is that the search that they did for Black Arachnia was actually Black Space Arachnia. So it's not one word there, but Yeah, I mean, like they're all just the preliminary listings in the computer at the moment. They could change, and the punctuation, their spelling could change, and all sorts of weird stuff. So, yeah. All right, let's move on. We also have seen some news in the last couple of weeks that from those of us in the West, we've taken it as Takara Tomy is reissuing the Earthrise Seeker pack, but it's not actually true because they haven't released them yet in Japan. So this is in fact the first release for Japan, I believe, of the Earthrise Seeker, Thundercracker, and Skywarp 2-pack. Now this pack has proven very, very difficult to acquire. Bradley, you've got one there. I have a couple incoming to me in the next few weeks, and it's proven difficult to acquire because it ended up going to Target in the US as an exclusive, and the things that go to Target seem to be a little bit difficult to acquire if we import things from Asia. Some stores did get this in Asia, but we haven't been able to acquire that many of them. They come in, they sell out, and they go out very fast. So the news that Takara Tomy is doing them is quite welcome, but they're not going to be out until January. The other thing that kind of sucks about it is that it's a Takara Tomy Mall exclusive. Now, I don't know if you guys have ever purchased from Takara Tomy Mall, but unless you know Japanese, you're probably going to have a hard time doing it. So if you do want to get on this, I suggest going through a buy for me service like Buy, or I prefer Treasure Japan personally because I find the customer service is really good. So have a bit of a look, have a bit of a think about it. You've got a little bit of time to figure it out if you want to get in on them. But there's also the possibility that one might turn up in a raffle in the TCCA Facebook group in the next few weeks.
I think this is also. So, is this the Japanese release? Is this the trio or is this the duo?
No, it's the duo still. It's the same. It's exactly the same pack like everything else for the last few years. Starscream is a separate release as it is for us.
That's good because I was worried that people that buy from the Takara Tomy might have to have a second Starscream if they want to get Skywarp and Thundercracker. But if it's just a duo, it's all win.
There is some thought that maybe Takara's swapped one of the heads on one of the bosses. We're not quite sure.
Because they all three of them have different heads. The only downside is because with Siege, it was easy to swap Thundercracker's head with Starscream, but these toys, they don't have a screw in the back of their head. Yeah,
I think you have to sort of like ply them apart with a what was it, the
spudger?
Yes, the spudger. I was going to say spatula, but like it would be close.
Yeah, no, I think I'll be quite happy with my Seekers as they are.
Yeah, cool. Look. I wasn't too fussed about these at first, and to be perfectly honest, I think it might be that the exclusivity has driven up their desirability for me, and I feel bad about that. But also, I feel like it's become a little bit more about the hunt than the
more about the hunt than the quarry.
Yeah, this has happened to me before, but also looking at them on screen, like all three of them together, damn, they look nice. They really do look nice. I'm looking forward to getting them.
I really like the Earthrise Starscream mold. I know I say this a lot, but I think that's like the definitive. It's champagne Transformers molding. I really like. I mean, it is essentially a like an oversized of what we got in I think the 2010s with that deluxe Starscream. But it's more sort of in scale. Like bigger is better, sort of thing.
That's true on all fronts. Yeah. Max, how do you feel about Earthrise Seekers?
I feel like I'm not going to buy them, but I respect what they're doing. They're real good looking figures. I just already have plenty of Seekers. But I can definitely see why people are excited. To just take what was ostensibly, one of the most beloved versions of the Seeker toy and bump that up in scale, increase the articulation, release it in modern day. I think that's a very smart move. And yeah, I can definitely see why people are happy about that.
Yeah, fair enough too. Now, so there is, along with that news, there is one other thing that Takara Tomy, actually there's two other things that Takara Tomy is putting into the Takara Tomy Mall site. This dude, who is also rather sought after as well, if you take the Skywarp that we see here and roll him back 1 year, then you get the Skywarp that we see here.
And also roll him in the dirt.
Yeah, I was going to say it does look like he's clawed his way out of a pile of cement with the siege battle damage shit on his legs. However, this has also turned into one of the most desirable figures on the planet. We are talking about the Skywarp Tetrajet Voyager from the Siege line, which was released in the Phantom Strike Squadron pack, which was a Toys R Us exclusive and has been also quite difficult to acquire for the last 6 months or so. They're fetching upwards of about $300 on eBay these days. Now, if you are interested in acquiring a Phantom Strike Skywarp and his couple of Battle Masters that come with him in the box, you can also order them from Takara Tomy Mall. He will also be releasing in January. And again, you'll have to order through some kind of a freight forwarder or a buy for me service if you would like to acquire this figure. And I think a lot of people would still. Finally, there's one other figure that I haven't put in here on the screen share, who is also being released by Takara Tomy Mall as an exclusive in January, and it's Siege Ratchet. Now, I thought after watching the War for Cybertron series on Netflix that Siege Ratchet would probably go through a bit of a renaissance of popularity, and indeed he has. So there's been a lot of people trying to acquire the figure, and he's not impossible to get. You can get him if you're willing to pay $100 for a deluxe on Amazon.
Is that all?
Yeah, there has been a member of our Facebook group who has purchased multiple Ratchets from Amazon, and they keep shipping them to him in paper envelopes, which means that the box gets damaged, and so because the box gets damaged, he goes onto Amazon's customer service and complains about the box damage, and they refund him a portion of the thing. So, like, if you want to get a ostensibly $100, but possibly a little bit cheaper, depending on how strongly you argue for your refund, jump on over to Amazon and have a look for the $100 Ratchet and see how you go. And I'll tell you what, if you order him from Takara Tomy Mall, he's probably going to end up only a little shy of that price anyway. So yeah, he might end up about $60 or $70. It depends what happens when you forward the freight. In all honesty, if you are going to do this, I suggest that you actually get a few people together and do a group buy. That's what some of us are doing with Seekers and the Autobot Alliance pack later this year. And a shipping cost shared is a shipping cost halved or quartered or fifth or however many people you have going in on it. Max, how have you gone with your Siege Seekers? Did you purchase any or many of them?
I've basically got entirely Iron Factory for my Seekers. I have done for the past couple of years, and I'm not looking back.
Well, so you were saying you've got plenty of Seekers.
I'm saying I've got plenty of one very specific variety of Seeker, yes.
That's fine too. I honestly think a lot of people had given up on getting this figure because the number of people who've gone out and bought Hotlink from the Netflix series and just gone, he's good enough as Skywarp. It's quite high, but now that everyone's done that, now there is one last chance to get the real Siege Skywarp. So see what happens. And I will also just point out that one of these sets might also be going up as a raffle in the group in a few weeks' time. We will see how we go.
I do find it interesting that they chose to release that Hotlink pack for Siege when Skywarp actually played a somewhat significant role in the show.
It is interesting. There's a lot of interesting figure choices in the Siege allotments. I was commenting with one of the US guys earlier this week, who had just proudly acquired Jetfire, and we were just lamenting the fact that Hasbro's released a year after Jetfire was released, and he's now scarce and difficult to find, they've released a cartoon that features him heavily, and they haven't re-released him or anything. I find that almost negligent in trying to ascertain how popular things and people and characters will be. It is a real shame that people who were not into Transformers and are now watching the series on Netflix and go, wow, that Jetfire is pretty cool, being like taken for hundreds of dollars just for the Commander class figure from last year. I really would like to see Hasbro reissuing.
They'll probably announce him in January. Here comes Jetfire from Takara Tomy Mall.
Maybe. I think they already got him in Japan, so that's probably not likely to happen. Although I have just had a thought that I don't think we actually had it confirmed who's in the second wave spoiler box, but I don't think it would be Jetfire because Jetfire is literally larger than that box.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anyway, so just to recap on that, if you've got yourself access to a freight forwarder, and some of us do, so if you are interested in acquiring some of these figures and you don't know how to go about it, contact some of the admins in the Facebook group, and we can point you in the right direction, or we can help you out with it. It is one of the things that we're looking to provide to members as a bit more of a service for the new membership year. So if you are a paid member of the club, we'll give you a hand with some freight forwarding. So we'll see how we go with that. Let's move on. What is the next story as my cat gets up and walks into frame?
Kitty.
There we go. So we are actually 2 weeks into 4 weeks of Transformers Tuesday reveals of new figures. Now, these are going out from different outlets in the US, of course, in the US, on Tuesday nights, which makes it Tuesday mornings on whatever Tuesday, which makes it Wednesday morning, our time, if you're looking for the news. Now, we've had 2 figures revealed so far, and the first one is the Generation Select Hothouse. Now, this is a very brightly colored repaint of Airwave.
Does the rest of his head come in an upgrade pack?
No, he's a bit of a flathead.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you like your MicroMaster bases, you've been waiting for Hothouse, and so you've probably already ordered him by now. So yeah, Hothouse was last week's reveal. I've resisted pulling the trigger on him yet because I don't know I don't know that I need it. But yes, it won't be hard to acquire if you are looking for him. And the second one, I looked at this on Wednesday morning. I thought, nah. But every time I look at it again, I'm like, yeah, that is really cool. So we're looking at the new Generation Select Bug Bite. Now, he is a repaint of Cliffjumper, not Bumblebee. So they're not using the Bumblebee Volkswagen mold for this, and there's probably a bunch of reasons for that. But we are looking at the white repaint of Cliffjumper with the Bumblebee head and the purple highlights and the shiny face with the evil blue eyes. Now, he is a mercenary, not a Decepticon, and he is missing the sort of traditional tribal tattoo sort of design that goes on Bug Bite, but he's still quite a looker. And every time I see this figure in these photos, I want to buy it more, and I probably will, because when it comes down to it, yeah, it's Bug Bite, but when it comes down to it, the Earthrise Cliffjumper is really good.
Yeah, it's really.
He's really good figure. I really like the figure, and so I don't mind the colors on this. The white, the purple, the silver. It really gets me. So yeah, I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, back when Classics Bumblebee, the deluxe one, was the only Bumblebee. I was legit interested in getting a bug bite, but not at the extortionary prices he was going for. So now it looks like you'll be getting a better looking one at a cheaper price. So that's always win-win.
Yeah, look, a lot of the Generation Select figures are coming to stores in Australia like EB, Zing, Pop Culture, and there's a couple of others, and they are generally fairly well priced. They're about $40. The deluxes are about $40. So if you are at all interested in them, it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg to do it. With EB, you can even pre-order them and then go and pick them up in the store and skip the postage charge. So yeah. If I see this guy come up locally, I'll probably order him. I'm weak.
Except for when it comes to Hothouse.
Hard pressed not to as well. There's something about it. I don't know. Like, I can't really put my finger on why that color scheme just works so well, but it really does.
It's the evil Bumblebee, right?
Yeah, evil, white, purple, black. That's evil. Plus, I do really like the look of the mercenary faction symbol.
Yeah.
Yeah. Looks interesting.
No, it seems fair. I like it. I like how they've taken the ski attachments for Cliffjumper's bazooka and his wheels, and they've sort of turned them into magazines for the guns on this one.
Yeah, that's a really clever design.
It has been a really clever design in terms of how that gun works and form. It's formed out of, I think, 5 parts. So yeah, no, it's been really good. All right, so I don't know if we went around. Who's getting Hothouse as well? Anyone?
Nah, I've still got.
There's a stunned silence from the rest of the podcast.
I've still got the retail release of the parts former, the weaponizer. Was it? It's not Grease Pit, is it? Iron.
So there's Ironworks, there's Grease Pit, there's Airwave, and now there's Hothouse.
Yeah, I've got Ironworks, and I still haven't opened him up yet, so I'm not really.
A lot of people are very fond of Ironworks.
Yeah,
like the pull apart sort of aspect of them is quite welcome. Yeah.
I just bought him because with my recent retail experience has been like, I see it on the shelf, I don't want it, and then a few months after it's off the shelf, I'm like, I want it, and now. I bought it. I'm like, I'm glad I have it, but at the same time, I haven't opened it.
You have to have a negotiation with yourself in the present and say, look, in the future, you're going to be really annoying because you're going to want this, and so let's get it now. Let's move on. One more Generation Select toy to talk about. This one has not been officially revealed. It might be this Tuesday Cummings reveal. We don't know. But he has, of course, leaked out because he's appeared in factory floors around the world, or around Vietnam at least. It is a G2 Megatron. Now, this is a repaint of the Earthrise Megatron figure, which is a bit of a retool of the Siege Megatron. But he's got sort of a much more familiar sort of torso design that we are familiar with. And he's got a slightly different shaped bucket on his head, which is how I can tell that it's Earthrise. Now, if last year I bought the Combat Megatron repaint from the Siege one, because I'm like, it's probably as close as we're going to get to a G2 one. Well, egg on my face. Now I might have to buy another one as well. Let's face it, a green Megatron with like purple camo is pretty hot. And also, Megatron now officially turns into a tank anyway, so it's got his accurate G2 alt mode. What do you guys think of the G2 Megatron?
He's gorgeous. It's stunning.
It's a beautiful looking figure. Like, I fucking love that.
Is it gorgeous enough for you to want to buy it?
Nope.
I don't know. Well, I already have one ridiculous coloured.
I have several ridiculous coloured Megatrons now.
I already have a ridiculous coloured version of this Megatron mold in the Combat Hero one, and and it's really tempting to pick up a second stupid G2 Megatron because, like, as gaudy as they look, I mean, it's just there's something to love about it.
I like the fact that they've managed to get around their desire to put battle damage on him by actually just putting the camo all over him. It's been good.
I really like the look of the eyes as well. The eyes just, I don't know.
It's
Sinister.
real clean paint on him. Everything just sort of pops out really distinctly. Yeah, it's a real nice color separation.
So bear in mind, this is likely a prototype lifted off the factory floor, and it's under what looks like pretty good lighting. So in hand, it might look a little bit different, but still, I think it's good enough for us to get an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah, it looks good.
It does. Let's see if this is one of the reveals in the coming Tuesday or the one after. Let's see what happens.
I saw people posting this on Facebook on Wednesday morning, so I thought it had already been revealed, but I guess it's all just unofficial leaky stuff.
Unofficial rumor and speculation.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Speaking
funny
about
if we don't mention it though.
Yeah, well, so it might come later. Who knows? Speaking of unofficial rumors and speculation, news has reached us that there is a box set of Studio Series Devastator coming out. This is going to be a very big box. You can sort of see. So, like, we're talking. What makes up a Studio Series Devastator? There's a couple of leader figures, there's a couple of Voyagers in there. Is there? I feel like it's a giant.
Maybe this is next year's Titan class, and the fandom will be outraged.
That's the gangly limbs. So if this is the case, we are looking at what would be a very big box, and he comes along in what looks like he's almost sort of ready to be assembled, but not quite assembled yet in the box. So he's ready for you. According to the box, it is Studio Series number 69. So if you are actually collecting Studio Series and you've been collecting them and you can't abide a number missing in your collection like Masterpiece, well, you're in trouble because you will have already bought these bots.
Yeah. Well, at least now you can have, Devastator and the individual Constructicons displayed, I guess.
And then, of course, you buy a third set so you can have them in alt mode.
Correct.
Maybe we also have to buy extras of Rampage too, so you can have all the exact color variants.
So I don't know a lot about Studio Series Devastator, but I did see mention that they've gone with one of the figures in the box, but you can still get the other one anyway. There's some controversy over Devastator's limbs.
I'll go one further, Jason. I don't really care about Studio Series Devastator.
I'll be honest. Neither do I. But I have actually seen a fully completed Studio Series Devastator. It is impressive. It's not for me, but it is impressive.
Yeah. I mean, it's all good.
All right. Got a couple more news stories. We might just sort of rush through in a bit of a hurry. We have a look. It looks like, judging by the hands on the side of the figure, it looks like it's the same guy who had the G2 Megatron.
That's incredibly observant.
Because I think it's because he's put it there and he's like, there you are, and he's like, oh yeah. So we'll see. So we are looking at the Studio Series Cliffjumper from the Bumblebee movie. Unsurprisingly, he is based on a Bumblebee mold, but he's red and he's a little bit different because he does have sort of the Cybertronian scout, but sort of a close analog appears to be the Jeep Bumblebees. That's why they've put him side by side. It's a bit of a backpack on there as well. It's like they're close, but they still look quite different. It's quite impressive.
Yeah, it seems like it's more of a shared skeleton rather than just a remold.
Yeah, a little bit. Like you can see the same stuff on the arms, and you can see similar stuff in the interior of the body, but sort of the shell is different as well. And that figure would probably more or less complete the main cast of the Bumblebee movie as far as Studio Series releases go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how much you count the Cybertronian characters, because like you had Soundwave and Shockwave with... Jesus Christ, what did I just say? Soundwave and Shockwave with the speaking roles as well.
Shockwave.
But I guess we did see Cliffjumper in multiple scenes. So in terms of the ones you could consider actual characters that just about knocks off everyone.
Yeah.
Are you interested in acquiring this figure?
No.
Nah.
I'm not really, but I know there's plenty of people who are looking forward to him. His alt mode looks a little bit like a bit of a reference to his Fall of Cybertron alt mode as well, which I think is quite nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the first thing a lot of people noticed when watching the movie, and you see Bumblebee driving through. Is like, I'm not the only one who saw that and immediately thought, "Oh shit, it's basically just a War for Cybertron vehicle."
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, that would be quite welcome and appropriate in and of itself, anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So Cliffjumper is a thing that's going to happen to the Studio Series line. That's impressive. We like it. We're not going to buy it, but we like it. Let's have a look at something. Maybe. Let's have a look at some things that we might buy. A quick look at official pictures for Earthrise Deluxe Wave 3. The color scheme on Fast Track is interesting. The design on Fast Track is interesting. I don't really know. I don't know why he looks like a sort of a KO of Optimus Prime, but he does. Anyone going for Fast Track?
I sort of have to because I'm going for Scorponok.
Fair enough. Fair enough. There's his in-box appearance. I hadn't really considered Fast Track, but when he actually does come out, we'll see how it goes. Now, there's an unusual set of Lambros in Wave 3, and that we have a deluxe Run Amok. We are hearing that Runabout is in Earthrise, so don't fret. And we also have the deluxe Sunstreaker. Now, oddly enough, both of those guys seem to be sharing the same molds. So Run Amok, Runabout, and Sunstreaker can all hang out together in the pub. They do. It does seem that Sunstreaker has a different rear design, and yeah, but the sort of his alt mode is quite unmistakable.
I do like the look of the Run Amok though, because he looks like the animation model that you see once or twice in season 3. And yeah, but I think I'll be sticking with my other Run Amok and Runabout.
Yes, fair enough. You know what? Maybe I've called them a shared mold, and maybe they're not. We'll see. They do. They look fairly well shared, but there's enough differences in the shell that make me.
There could be variations on a theme, like very, very loosely repainted, remolded.
It looks like just another shared skeleton. As best I can tell.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The hip and crotch sections look basically identical.
They do, and that might be the skeleton aspect of it. Trailbreaker, obviously a remold, retool, repaint of Hoist from Wave 1. Also, a very popular character that people have been clamoring for. Are you guys into the Trailbreaker?
Yes.
Yeah, these looks just about excellent. Like it's like a. Yeah, I've got nothing bad to say about him. He looks incredible.
It's a vast improvement over the one we got about 4 or 5 years ago.
I suppose that one was also very common. So the thrilling 30 or the universe one, I think, was very comic based, and yes, there was one in Combiner Wars. You're quite right. So just a bit of a look at the deluxe figures that are coming. One last final bit of news. This guy has been doing the rounds this week. This is the THT Beast Starscream. Now, this is the third party, obviously, Starscream, that is based on a beast mode concept where Starscream is sort of an eagle or a bit of a bird. And some of the pictures that have come out this week are just mighty impressive with some of the poses and the coloring and the Photoshop job that has been done to make him look so impressive. This figure really appeals to me. I really like the bird aesthetic. I'm not sure why I like the bird aesthetic, but something about it really grabs me. Before we started, I was saying to Bradley that I think it almost looks like it's a G-Force or Battle of the Planets reference as well.
I was thinking also Eagle Riders, because
maybe, yeah.
I mean, it's not really a jump of the imagination, is it? It's an eagle, and yeah.
So I quite like the fact that the wings can spread quite wide, but they also seem quite capable of compacting down to a more a more sort of traditional Starscream design. And also, I think the head design sort of looks a little bit like a Transformers Prime figure. Specifically, they look like Transformers Prime Megatron with all the sneers and the scowls and the teeth. But I really like it either way.
I think we're going through before we start as well, like how many homages there are in this figure. So you got G1, you've got animated with the wings, you've got possibly Beast Wars just because it's got a Beast alternate mode, and we've got Transformers Prime with the different head sculpts. So there's four lines that are homaged in this one toy. I wonder, are there any other homages you can think of?
Who knows? I certainly don't know. I haven't taken that close a look at him. Like when I look at him for a while, like a lot of the panels on him sort of annoy me, but they also are quite clever the way they sort of fold in and out and compact. And I can see how some of them compact down.
Do you mean like the feather ones?
The feather ones. But then there's also there's a lot of curvature going on around his limbs, and that adds a lot of detail. And such detail is not quite where Transformers figures are at in 2020. So, it's quite like I said, it's a very interesting Starscream. It's very impressive. Depending on his actual size and the price, I might pick one up to have a look at it.
Yeah, he also looks like he's got an LED in his chest, or is that a reflection?
I think he actually has an LED in his chest and possibly in his eyes as well.
Oh yeah,
in his head, his eyes look like they might light up too. So yeah,
looks like the bird mode might as well.
Yeah, possibly. There might be a few. Sorry.
I just saying there's a couple of photos there where seem to be glowing.
Yeah, whether or not those are sort of modified after the shot, don't know, but yeah. Either way, I find it very impressive, and I'm like I said, I'm quite tempted. So we'll see how I go. That concludes the news for this week.
Actually, I was going to ask: is this the first figure from a third party company, or is this?
I don't know. It's not the first T-Beast inspired figure, but I don't think they're by the same company. So maybe this is a new company. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, we've had like 3 or 4 different companies tackling these designs.
Do you think maybe we should expect a Skywarp Thundercracker repaint, or just leave it Starscream?
Maybe. I think it probably depends how popular it is on its first round as to whether or not it gets repainted.
True. Good point.
See? Yeah. All right. I think it's that time of the show where we should talk about acquisitions and new things, what we've all added to our collections, yo. Who would like to go first? We've actually all got stuff in the run sheet for new acquisitions. How about Max? Do you want to go? We talked about this little dude earlier.
I did. So I have.
He has frozen just as it's his.
I have got to go. My home planet needs me.
That's gone well. All right, Bradley, do you want to talk about yours?
Okay, sure. I'll start off with the one that's right next to me. I got Earthrise Double Dealer. Got him in his where are we? Here we are. Got him in his Hawk mode. Very glad to have this toy. I do have the G1 version of this mold, and one difference you can see right off the bat is for the Eagle mode in the G1 toy, the missile actually comes up underneath, so he looks very suggestive. So it's good to see that they've sort of corrected that, I guess, in this mold. It's a very interesting transformation, and I'm glad to have. I was going to get the spy pack that comes with the cassettes of his Power Masters, and then I saw there was actually a 4-pack, and I was kind of like, yeah, don't really want it that much. It got Earthrise Snapdragon. Pain in the ass to transform, but glad to have him because he looks quite good with Ape Face. The only thing is though, my camera can't pick up the subtle difference really.
Because there's a giant light source behind you.
Oh yeah, that too. But yeah, Ape Face is like a soapy white, whereas Snapdragon's like a grayish, creamy white sort of thing. Again,
there was some fear that Snapdragon would be similar to Ape Face in the sort of, people called it the milky plastic finish. They didn't like that on Ape Face.
Yeah, he gratefully does not have the soap finish to him. He's pretty good. What else? Oh yeah, I got Commander Skylinks that you can already see here in shot. Glad to have him. I did have a problem with him at first because his jets didn't want to clip together. I have to sort of like really squeeze the back end to sort of get that to clip in. I don't know if that's typical of the mold or not, but yeah, it's really good to have. Good update to the Combiner Wars, let's call it attempt at Skylinks. Again, glad to have him. I just got to find room for him now. Got a few little 2-packs of the microbots because they're going on special at the reject shop for like $4 each. I thought pick them up. I've got I forgot about him. I got Netflix Megs.
Yep.
First,
the Tyrant.
Yeah, first version of the Siege mold. Glad to have him. Also, I did have quite a chuckle at his instruction manual. I don't know if this is typical of the instruction manual, but well, where are we? There we go.
Sorry, I'll just put you back up there. Yeah, Max is back. Hi, Max.
Hello. Sorry.
What
are you looking at?
His face, it looks like he's got a scowl, like he's having a very unhappy day.
He's just having a bad poo.
Is that the actual sculpt on the toy?
No, the actual sculpt on the toy is I don't know if that'll come up or not. Where are we?
Oh, looks even more unhappy.
Yeah, but he actually looks
like Siege, why not?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad to have that one because I think that's probably the one toy that I'm really glad to have battle damage on because it looks pretty cool. Also got
it's consistent with his appearance in the show as well, which I'm okay with the battle damage in that respect, so it's good.
Yeah, I got Skywarp and Thundercracker 2-pack.
Yes, very sought after. Very sought after. Yeah, you haven't opened it yet, I notice.
No, I was going to open him today, and then sort of I got carried away with the day. I've heard a rumor. I don't know if it's true or not. There's actually a variant to this.
Really?
Yeah, they're packaged differently.
Oh, really?
Apparently, there's a variant where they
just hold it back up. Isn't the name positioned next to the bot, or are the names both on the one side?
Skywarp and Thundercracker, so it's both Skywarp and Thundercracker. Yeah. So, yeah, that could be.
Imagine whoever's working on the shop floor probably just doesn't care.
Yeah.
Probably not. Yeah.
And last but not least,
Dead Prime.
Yeah. I sort of got around to opening up the box, but I haven't actually gotten around to taking him out yet. But he looks amazing.
He is very impressive. Like, so I picked this up this week as well. I'm just going to segue into talking about my acquisitions, but he is really impressive, and I think part of the reason he's really impressive is just because the mold that he's based on is impressive. We've said earlier how good the Earthrise Optimus Prime is. We've said it several times, and so even a different color version of the Earthrise Optimus Prime mold is still going to kick ass.
Also, I really liked your little your photo essay of this guy being opened up by Earthrise Optimus then running away. That's my acquisitions for the last couple of months. Over to Jason or Max.
Well, I'll keep going. So I got that Optimus Prime as well. I also really like him. I actually quite like having him out on my desk as something to fiddle with. I just if I'm bored on a conference call, and like who isn't on a lot of conference calls when we're all working from home, I pick up a transformer and transform them back and forth now. So Earthrise Optimus Prime, the transformation is really, really impressive, and just the details on the figure, the paint applications, everything. They've taken a lot of care.
Yes, I'm still on the center cam.
Oh, you are too, yeah. But I'm looking at the figure that's in front of me and not looking at the camera anyway. But, there we go.
It's just transfixed by how beautiful it is.
He is a very beautiful Prime. So other stuff that I've acquired in the last weeks, it's actually a bit of a hodgepodge and a grab bag going on here. We go from Earthrise Optimus Prime to a Cyberverse Deluxe Grimlock.
Nice.
I really like the Cyberverse Deluxes. They're quite overpriced for what they are. They're quite small. If you can pick them up from Kmart, then that's great because they're $29 instead of $39. Bit of news as well is that RC has been released here as well. Our good friend Dr. Lockdown discovered it in Kmart this week at $29 instead of $39. So start heading up your Kmarts. I've called every Kmart that's near me, and they're all like, no, they don't have it, which is annoying. And I also still need to acquire Cyberverse Hot Rod as well. But yeah, no, Cyberverse Grimlock, very nice, very very impressive figure. He's got a lot of detail to him, and of course the character's pretty fun too.
Is that the Builder figure line?
Yes.
Okay, cool. So how much? So you got 2 pieces left to build? What's his name?
I need Hot Rod, I need RC, and Thunder Howl.
Are you going for the completist?
I don't care, but like, I've got, I bought the first 4 and I like them, so I'm going to buy the others. So like, I will have the Builder figure, but not because I want the Builder figure. It's just because that's just what I'll end up with.
Fair enough.
Yeah. This one arrived today, which is, I think he's actually, this is an early release from coming from Asia. We've got the Generation Select Exhaust.
Nice.
He is really nice. Like, so he's a Wheeljack remold. I haven't played with Earthrise Wheeljack before, and I sat down this afternoon. I started just pulling this around and moving panels around, and very very quickly I had the whole thing transformed. So I find the mold's transformation quite intuitive, quite easy. And the other thing that I love about it is just he's got big giant feet. Like he looks goofy as fuck because of the size of his feet. He's got giant shoes on, and that just makes the whole thing cuter to me. Like he's a mercenary. It is interesting. He's got a mercenary logo on him, but his name is Decepticon Exhaust. But he's really goofy, really cute. And the other thing that I'm really taken by is if I can hold that up and catch it there, that face sculpt is fantastic.
Yeah.
No, it's a bit blurry on the camera, but they legit gave him a properly redone face sculpt, and it's really nice.
Cool.
So, yeah, very happy with him. Going back in time quite a way to BotCon Japan. I have a BotCon Japan transparent Mac alert from I think around 2001 that I recently acquired as well. That was from a sale in the buy sell trade group.
Wow.
He's an impressive figure to have in the. Oh, my cat just slammed his face on the. You right?
Andy.
Oh mate.
I heard that through the mic too.
Yeah.
I know it was quite a big knock, wasn't it? Yeah. So that's pretty impressive. And the last figure that I'll hold up to the camera. I'll tell you what. So TF Nation the reason we didn't record the podcast last weekend was because TF Nation was on. The TF Nation they had a live chat going between sessions. I held this up, and the crowd went wild for it. We are looking at the My Little Pony Optimus Prime. It is super cute. He's got quite a snarky expression as well. Like, don't be giving this Prime shit, or he'll kick you. And his one point of articulation is the tail moves.
Nice. I like how they got like the wheels and the smokestacks on him as well. Yeah,
you know what? I think. Oh no! I thought maybe his head turned, but no, it doesn't. Yeah, no, the wheels, the smokestacks, everything that makes a prime is present on this figure, except for the fact that it doesn't transform. So yeah, no, very happy.
How much effort they've gone to there in terms of the paint job.
It is like
the feel of Optimus Prime for what is ultimately a My Little Pony.
It's great. And so if this takes your fancy, I implore you to go out and spend $30 on it at EB Games. It's cheaper than most deluxes. And it's a talking point to sit in your collection shelf as well.
Mm.
All right. That is about it for the business end of the podcast.
Does Max have acquisitions?
Max, depends on how much you heard of my acquisitions before I dropped out.
That's right. Sorry, we were going to hear from you because you have Earthrise Cliffjumper as well.
I do. I'll keep it brief. He's a lovely little figure. I've only picked up about 2 figures from the whole War for Cybertron trilogy, but the thing that's consistently impressed me is just the overall build quality for what are just your everyday retail figures. Right, they feel so much more solid and well put together than anything in the lines preceding them.
I've given mine Dead Prime's gun.
That works really well, actually.
Nice.
It's pretty nice, yeah.
But I do have to love the classic cannon they've given him. It works really well for such a small figure too, having this giant cannon there. If I had to pick out one issue with him, it's that you have to detach the backpack to transform him. But what you can, and it's really tricky to do, but you can sort of fold his arms around and get him to grab onto the little peg holes with his hands, which are where it attaches in the vehicle mode. And it's really tricky to do, but it can be done. So he's technically not a partsformer.
Okay.
And otherwise, the transformation's just really nice and simple. Articulation's brilliant. It's like basically masterpiece level. Nearly across the board, but just on a bit of a cheaper deluxe figure.
He is a really nice deluxe scale figure. People go on about his size and how he's a smaller bot, but the number of parts in him is actually up there with a standard deluxe.
Yeah, and he makes up for it in the density. Right, he feels weighty. Every joint feels nice and tight, and just the amount of moving parts in him. He's more posable than most other figures that come out. Like the overall quality and level of polish to the figure is just so high. It's one of those things where I can't tell you like a singular aspect of this that really makes it shine. Not the articulation and paint job, yada yada, none of that. It's just you get this figure in hand and there's this real feeling of polish to it. Like it was genuinely, made, with love. Like it really comes through here. I can't really describe that feeling, but it feels like a step above what you'd expect from a retail transformer.
So I got to say, I actually quite like mine just wearing. Oh, hang on, I'll turn the camera on. Yeah, I actually just quite like mine wearing the boot of the car on his back. I think it works really well. When you look at him from the front, you can't really tell that there's the back of the car hanging off him. I think it works well.
Oh yeah, no, I like it in terms of a silhouette. I just meant in terms of transformation. The fact that you have to remove it is a bit.
Oh yeah, no, yeah. But I mean, we've had to remove fits and stuff for years. So like,
yeah. But I do like that you can just barely get him to pick it off with his hand. So he's technically not a partsformer. It's just bloody tricky to do.
Enough too. So does anyone have any new things that are on their way that they want to talk about, or wait till they arrive and be a surprise?
Might as well wait till they arrive. Got a couple of higher end Optimus Primes on the way.
Mm-hmm.
My friend, just before the show started, he sent me a link to the Quintesson, Earthrise Quintesson. Like, are we going to get it? Or are we going to wait for the box set? So I'm sort of been mulling that over.
So I discovered some stuff tonight actually about this. Apparently, the Earthrise Quintesson Voyager has been bumped into Wave 3 instead of Wave 2. We originally thought he was Wave 2, but he's been updated on TF Wiki as a Wave 3, and but his part assortment number apparently sort of pegs him as a Wave 2 design. So maybe they've had some issues with I don't know, manufacturing them or getting them out, but and of course that makes that figure's first release now the Quintesson Pit of Judgments set, which we don't know whether or not it's actually coming to Australia or not, but I do know that it's coming to me.
Confirmed.
Let's just say it's in a box in Hong Kong waiting to fly to Australia.
Okay then.
So yes, hopefully in the next week or so I'll have that to show off on the podcast, which will be a nice little exclusive. I think it doesn't actually come out until October or November. So should be. That is about it. Do we have anything else we need to add to the things, or are we good to go for the outro?
Am I good to go?
I think we're good to go for the outro.
A small note for club management stuff is that we are coming up to the time where we're going to make club membership a thing again. Club is kind of under new management, so we're just sort of feeling our way around and making sure that we can actually produce the merchandise and things that we want to do, and do the things that we want to do with it for the new year. So keep an eye out on the Facebook group or the club website for new membership information, which should come out in the next week or so. That is it for us. Thank you for listening. If you're watching along with the live record, which it is a Friday night, we know if people want to watch along, it's not quite a sacrifice for them. So thank you if you do. Find out more about these stories. You can find the links to them in the show notes posted to the Transformers Weekly Facebook page and the Podbean site. You can get in touch with all of us in Transformers Collectors Club Australia on Facebook. You can find Bradley on Twitch at Twitch. Wait, you know what? I have a Twitch account now because TF Nation was all on Twitch last weekend. I can follow you on Twitch. Go on. Tell us how to do it.
Twitch.tv/GroovyGuy0069. The 0069 is for how much taller I am than Jason in centimeters.
God,
you're a trying to find the value.
Fair enough.
I was trying to think of a gag for the numbers, but I panicked.
I panicked and I made a non-funny. All right. If you're not already subscribed to the podcast and you're just listening to it and you've listened to us for the last hour, thank you. And you can subscribe on iTunes, Pocket Cast, Spotify, YouTube, and more. You'll find the RSS feed on the website and in the show notes. And, of course, you can find out more about Transformers Collectors Club Australia at transformerscca.com. That is all from us. We'll be back with more Transformers news maybe next week, maybe the week after.
Maybe before the end of the year.
We keep saying that, but, we maybe it'll be a couple of weeks.
Back when we feel like it.
Yeah, basically, we'll be back when there's enough news to pad out an hour's show to talk about it, like there was tonight. So
so please do get in touch with Hasbro. Tell them to make many more announcements. So we've got some news to talk about, and the sooner we'll come back.
That is the one way to guarantee we never come back. Hasbro shuts down the Transformers line in order to get rid of us.
Yeah, but how are they going to raid us? We're all in 3 different states and houses. They can't do that.
Not simultaneously.
Oh, yeah, true.
Anyway, thank you for listening, everyone. That's all from us. We'll be back next week or the week after that and see how we go. And also, for you, especially up the back there, stop doing that.
That's just disgusting. I can't believe that's...
No, that's not right. Yeah. All right, goodbye.
Bye-bye.